Hi, and welcome to the next Operation Alpha training module. So in this video, I'm going to go over what the RPE scale is and why no pain, no gain is pretty stupid. Or go hard, go home, that whole kind of extreme attitude towards exercise. So RPE is an acronym that stands for Rate of Perceived Exertion. So it is basically a very simple system for you to assess how hard you are working when you're training, and that could be either doing cardio or aerobic exercise or resistance training. So the first thing I'll do is just go over the scale itself. So if we think about RPE as being from 1 to 10, 1 is basically resting, doing nothing. 2 is doing something that's really easy. We then move up to easy. Number 3, number 4 would be moderate. By the time you get to 5, it's something that's challenging. And then believe it or not, above challenging, there's still 5 stages before you get to maximal effort. So you've got hard at 6. 7 is something between hard and really hard, so it's still sort of fairly manageable. By the time you get to 8, it's really hard. 9 is really, really hard. And 10 is basically call an ambulance. It's like, you know, I'm done. Literally cannot physically move. I've reached my maximum effort. Cool. So the thing to realize is obviously, you know, this is a subjective and very personal way of assessing, and that's fine. It's okay, because it's ultimately it's all about you and your perception of what you're doing. So you know, you don't have to sweat about it being incredibly scientific. It's literally a way for you to assess, you know, only you know your own body. So it's a system for you to judge, basically, you know, how hard you're pushing it. So why is this useful, and why is the no pain, no gain way of doing things, why is that stupid? Well, if you get into this kind of habit or mindset of killing yourself every time you train, or feeling like you need to do that, and if you don't do that, it's not worth training, well, it's dumb. And there's a couple of reasons. Now, one is particularly if you're doing weights, if you absolutely beast yourself every single time you go into the gym, what you do is, what you end up, and you've probably experienced this yourself, is you end up with something called DOMS, which stands for delayed onset of muscle soreness. And that's basically that really, really excessive soreness that you can feel after training, which sometimes is okay. But if you are experiencing that frequently and all the time, what that can do is it can lead to less overall activity over the course of a week, and therefore less calories burned. So if we are thinking in terms of fat loss, this is not a good thing, because actually you're going to be burning less calories, which can totally defeats the point of what you're trying to achieve, assuming you are looking to, you know, shed some weight and shed some fat. So yeah, bad's not a good thing. The other thing is potentially, if you're training quite frequently, if you've got a plan that needs you to get into the gym, say 4 or 5 times a week, well, if you're absolutely destroying yourself in your first session or the first 2 sessions of the week, your subsequent training sessions will be negatively impacted, because you've got all this muscle soreness and you're just not able to sufficiently recover properly to really do those sessions justice. Yes, that's another way that, you know, this can be quite a stupid way of doing things. The other thing is, you can create mental barriers or fear of training. And, you know, one I mentioned earlier is that you can start thinking it's only worthwhile going to the gym if you absolutely, you know, destroy yourself. Or you can create this fear of training where it actually becomes quite intimidating, the thought of training, and therefore you start putting it off because you don't feel like you're mentally able to do it, which again is pretty dumb, because that's not what we want. We want to reduce the barriers to training and remove the fears so that you're able to do it more often. So when you're using RPE in an intelligent way, your overall to long-term progress can actually be superior for the reasons that I've just explained. And I say using it intelligently because you also don't want to kind of start using it as an excuse not to train hard when it's appropriate. So, that's a sort of caveat there. It also gives you another marker to use to measure and progress with, aside from, just weights, reps and sets, or, distances and times if you're doing cardio. So if you think about this as an example, a 50 kilogram squat performed for 10 reps at RPE of 6, well, that's a progression if the last time you did it, it was at an RPE of 7, because obviously it's now easier. So it just gives you another little system, because when it comes to progression, it's all about finding those little increments to progress with. So even just doing that, even just performing a set with the same weight, the same number of reps, if the RPE is less, that's a progression. So it's another way for you to progress and measure things. And actually before a session, it's also a way for you to decide beforehand how hard you're going to be training on certain exercises and specific sets. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. That wraps that up. If you have any feedback or questions, you can email me at wolfpack@operation-alpha.com. Cheers.